Right, well, I've got 3 sausages. They're not very big, but they're very meaty. These are not sort of synthetic meat that isn't made with meat and a lot of other things. They are just pure meat. Pork sausages, and this is my usual pastry that's pre-rolled, all butter, pure ingredients. And I'm now going to, I should have done this beforehand, shouldn't I? I'm now going to construct a pie. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on the base, because I don't want, I'm making a grease layer. I don't want soggy pastry. So but I'm not taking it to the edge, notice. Now that's very important, because the top layer, which is this one, needs to stick to it. Now, nothing is pre-cooked. It's just another easy recipe. Okay, I'm going to put a layer of these onions. So that's half an onion on the base, just half. It's not even covering all of it. And some of these. This is very, very finely chopped. It has to be extremely small chopped. So now I'm taking some of this, which is potato, all right? You can use any vegetables, literally, that you like, but don't use wet ones like tomatoes, courgettes. Too much water, it'll make your pastry go soggy. And I'm just going to drain these. I have to use these because Paul doesn't like peas, but I think it tastes better with peas. But you could add beans if you wanted. It depends what your personal preference is and what you've got in your cupboard. But the idea is that it's a whole meal in a very small one pie item. So I'm putting all of this on, and now I'm going to put some more of this and some more of the potato. If you wanted to use a potato that's a sausage that's vegetarian, I don't see why not. And I have done it with what do you call those things? Beef burgers, only hamburgers, not beef burgers. And they work quite well as well. They have to be tiny because it's not pre-cooked. So everything will be cooking inside this pie. Okay? So you can see what we've done. That was pretty straightforward and simple, wasn't it? A little bit more of the... So in fact, I've used half a tin. I'm not using any more of it because sweet corn, as I said, I would have used a whole tin of little peas, but not that. Now, you've got your sausage. These sausages are basically a minced meat inside a skin. Now what you need to do is to pull it out, squeeze it, make it into little flat shapes and just lay them on the top. When this cooks, it will be inside 2 layers of pastry. You're going to cook it for about 40 minutes, which is longer than I normally would cook something, but everything here is raw. The flavour of the sausage descends, literally drops down, and it flavours all the vegetables. I usually add more pepper, but I wouldn't if I had children. You can use pretty much any vegetable and any meat that's something like pork with fat in it. If it hasn't got the fat, then you're going to have to think more carefully. You might have to add something like mozzarella to give it a little bit of fat. But you don't want to add water. Water would be a disaster because vegetables with water will just go to the bottom and make everything soggy and ugh. But this is nice. This is really nice. And the other important thing to remember is that you don't want it thick. So can you see this is pretty thin. Yeah, pretty thin. I'm just pulling them out. If you've got sausage meat, by all means use that, but it's just more convenient. You can usually find sausages, and sausage meat is more problematic. And I freeze sausages in 3s because when my granddaughter comes, it's one of the things you can guarantee she'll eat is something with sausages in. So I do them in 3s, and then if there's just 2 of us, we can have 1 pack. If she comes, then we can have 2 packs. And here we are. These are called Toulouse sausages. They are fairly famous in this part of France, but could have used chipolatas, doesn't really matter. You're just trying to get the meat and making it look nice. This will all cook together for 40 minutes and it's a complete meal, which is what I like. I like things that are simple. I like things that don't cost the earth. And I also like things that don't have very much skill. I'm not a very skillful cook. You know, if I can do it, you can do it. So just squeeze that on the top. Now you have everything in the one place. I'm going to get my little yogurt pot of water, clean my hands to make certain there's nothing on them that will stop it sticking. And there you are. Now we're in the garden, so it will cook for its 40 minutes and we can still carry on with what we're doing. So it's really simple and pretty much universally liked. And a vegetarian option is not that difficult to manufacture because these days you get so many replacement meat dishes. I have made it with bacon, little lardons, but you don't get that. You want something that doesn't involve lots of chewing and big chunks. I don't like that sort of effort, really. Right, so now what I'm going to use is, now watch Paul, because this took me a long time to learn. Okay, I've got my paper at the back, I've got my pie topping at the front, and I use the paper to keep it. I then make certain I don't drag it and smear it because then it won't stick. Now I pull it so it matches. And I don't take the paper off till the very, very end because if I need it or repositioning it, I've got something to usefully hold on to. Now I pull it like this, and as we're there, we can take that away. Now that is pretty straightforward and simple, but I want to make certain this is actually going to stick. So you can use a fork, but then I often puncture it by mistake because I'm like that. So I, again, do that, and I go over the top, and I slightly stretch it. Can you see? And it comes out looking quite pretty and professional, but in actual fact, as you can see, it's so simple. It just looks nice, but the point is that you're not going to have any loss of juices. Loss of juices means it'll start sticking on the bottom and go soggy. It will burn, scorch. You don't want any of that. You just want something that's going to work. Now, the important thing to remember now is that you've got steam going to happen in there. You want to allow that steam to come out, because if you don't, you're making soggy pastry again. So I always make quite a big amount of holes in the top. And I'll cut them quite deeply. if a little bit of liquid dribbles out, and I don't think it will, because there's nothing in there that is very wet. So you could use any vegetables that you like, that are made of stalks, made of roots, your favourite things. Chop them very, very small. They will then cook in that 40-minute period. And, oh, what was that? Oh, that's pasta. Goodness knows how that got there. Okay, right. Now, we want a knife. Now, the holes. I just do it high points, but right across. And I really like to make certain they are holes. I don't want soggy pastry. This is puff pastry, and it's a delightful thing if it puffs. So we'll put it in, and then we've got a pie from when we come back in. All right? No, that doesn't work. I have to put it round this way. There you are. See you later. Moment of truth, yes? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say like I did for the other flan, this always comes out right, because there's always a chance it won't. But let's have a look. Oh yes, that looks nice, doesn't it? Actually, I'm very hungry. Yes, well. You can guarantee, can't you? Gotcha. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now, in theory, I should be able to just lift it up onto here. In practice, I can do it! Oh, ow, ow. Oh dear, I need to put cold water on it. Oh, you can guarantee I should let you do that, shouldn't I? Oh dear. I don't know how it always goes like this, Paul. I just don't know. I don't normally cut these, but let's have a go. See, it's crispy. It's crispy. Right, I'll put this one on your plate if I can. Here we are. You can have a look at here. There's your pieces of sausage. There's all your soft vegetables, all perfectly cooked. And it smells absolutely heavenly. Enjoy. Okay, you're doing now.